Hello indeed, everyone. How are you? This is the peaceful revolutionary Sylvain back at you. It's the Christmas season. It's coming along very soon. So we're getting ready to do that. So I'm doing 2 videos today, and I'm going to be spreading them around a little bit for distribution because during the Christmas season, or preceding Christmas season, it's my birthday and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I won't be recording during that particular period, but I don't want you guys to feel like I'm not taking care of you with information. There's always stuff going on. So anyway, this first video is going to be a little bit of an update on the Keshe Technologies project. This is going to be part 4. So another update. I'm going to just mention what's going on there very quickly, and then I'm going to do another one. Well, you'll see what it is if you watch it. But on the Keshe stuff, there's 4 items I wanted to cover real quick. First, we received a note from the Keshe Foundation. Well, I think everybody received the same note, in fact, that said that essentially they were all the devices, the reactors that were sent out between October and November, like until late November, are recalled. They are recalling all the other reactors. They want to, I guess, fix something and send a new batch back out, so the first people that were supposed to receive them or have received them, maybe in Italy or wherever that is, the devices have problems with them. So they're pushing them back, and that they'd be receiving something around Christmas time, maybe. Which is just about the same time that we were scheduled to receive our reactors. And the note, we received another note, which I may not have mentioned, maybe I did last video, was that there was a manufacturing process that was happening in Quebec, which is in Canada, where I am, and they were going into production and pushed out. And we didn't really receive a note whether, like, are these devices recalled and resent, or is that a separate manufacturing process, the good one? We're not really sure. But in any case, things seem to be pushed back as far as receiving these reactors. So once again, once we receive them, I'm going to let you guys know right away. But I don't like this kind of, even though it may be reasonable, I don't like this kind of wishy-washy kind of recalling or resending, since according to my reading, in 2012, there was a bunch of people that bought reactors. At that time, they were supposed to receive them. Nobody actually received them. I am unsure if this is just stories to discredit or if it's real, but I'm reading this stuff and then I'm seeing it here, kind of the pattern kind of repeating. It makes me worried. That's all I have to say about that. I have no information saying either way if this is just going to be a game of shipping game to make us wait, or if it's actually for real reasons. Obviously they offer reasons, but they've been doing it for a while. Provide the friggin' reactors if you we want to be able to test them. We're excited. We want to know if it's legit or not. We want to know if it works. We want to know, right? We also, actually, this came from one of you guys, a member of the community, provided me with a document that she was able to get from the Keshe Foundation through a different way. I'm not sure if they're actually available. This document is actually available on the website, but she sent it to me by email, and it's a series of instructions on how to set it up in your home and to condition the circuits of your house to the nanocoating and all this stuff. And it's fairly well written, like step by step. I was happy to see that because some of the Keshe stuff is really cryptic, but this document is really precise in what to plug and how to test and to kind of scale up with a load at different points in time. So if you guys don't have that particular document, you should probably look for it. If you really, really, really want it, you can always try to contact me, and I'll send it to you. As soon as I get your emails, just attach it and send it over to you. This stuff probably gets updated as well, so maybe there's another version already out. I'm not sure, but it's if you want to see it, take a look at it on the Keshe Foundation websites, and people have been grabbing it and finding it. So and it's well done. So if you're building your reactors from home, you should get that so that you have clear instructions on how to condition your house. I guess that's the point. One thing that happened also is a man from Montreal, Canada, called me up. He was really worried about something that he saw in the workshops videos, which that described, Mr. Keshe described that the technology won't be compatible with transformers. And he also says, and I heard them many times say that the nanocoating is going to spread in the circuit, in the streets, and eventually even to the power plants. And but he also said the other thing about the transformers. And what I discussed with the other man, who's a lot more mechanical than I am, is that there are transformers everywhere, and he's right. There's a bunch of transformers in the wires in the street that transform the current in different ways to the houses. We have transformers all over our houses, like our computers, our electronics. A lot of the electronics, not all of them. Everything that has a square box that changes voltage. Usually it's just a square box attached to the plug. Everything that has that, that's a transformer. And Mr. Keshe said that these things aren't compatible. And I believe the man said from Montreal, said, well, specifically they should break, actually. So be really careful when you do these things. And then I started reading about what kind of devices he talks about plugging to the circuit with the reactor. And he purposefully seems to be describing accurately pieces of equipment that don't have a transformer, like refrigerators and fans and different things like that. They're plugged directly. They don't transform the voltage or current. So he's not really making that clear, and I think that's really important. That's why he was a bit in a panic. You should put that in a video. So I am doing that now. It's really important. So if you're plugging your reactor directly into your house circuit and it does start nanocoating, which I have still doubt over, we'll have to see. Well, it's going to break your transformers, and a bunch of your electronics will stop working over time because it's going to do its thing, right? So if you're not sure about that, well, recheck the videos. You can validate what I'm saying, because I did not. I watched like 50 odd hours of videos, and somewhere in there it's mentioned. I probably missed it while I was watching, and I don't want to look through that. So if somebody could validate that comment and write it out in comment, make it clear, as this has been missed. It's really important. You're testing things in your home. You want to have free energy. You want to have an increase of energy and capacity, and like half your electronics fail. That's not too good, and the transformers on the street start failing. The electric company, who are they going to come to? Who's going to pay for that? It's taxpayers, or they're going to sue you, or they're going to do something, whatever, right? So let's be aware of that, okay? So that's another thing. The third thing is I started seeing, because I've been following people that have been building, since I'm waiting for the devices still, and a few people have yelled, "Eureka! The device works, the reactor works." There's several videos I've seen, and I was really excited. Okay, somebody did something. It's great. And but don't be fooled, okay? I'm not saying these people, at least those that I saw, they are honest folk. They just don't know what they're seeing. Because they just seeing power going from the wall through the reactor into like a drill or a light is not an indication that you're generating fresh energy, that a reactor works. All it means that electricity can pass through all the wires and end up in your light or in whatever is powering at the very end. That's what it means. And copper wire does conduct electricity, so it's not that surprising that it doesn't mean that the reactor works when it does that. Also, secondly, I've seen more recently, a couple of days ago, a video of somebody measuring, and I was excited again. Okay, he's measuring input and output. It was awesome, and it took me 5 minutes before I actually realized what he was measuring. He was measuring current at the start and at the very end, and there was an increase in current. And I just saw the numbers. I thought he was wearing kilowatts. And I thought, wow, okay, there's a 50% increase. That's amazing. So I thought, well, maybe there's something to this thing. And then later on, when I reread and I reviewed it again, it was current. And an increase in current, we can do that. That's what transformers are for example. And transformers are really just coils of different sizes that are arranged to change voltage into current and vice versa. It's old tech. I mean, if you pass things through a certain setup of a reactor, it may change the current. And then if you have more current, you'll have less voltage. So, and the opposite is true. So, if you want to measure to make sure that to see if your reactor works, actually generates new free energy, you have to look at how many kilowatts are going into your machine. You have to measure that, and how much kilowatts are coming at the end, are leaving. And based on documentation, you have to condition, using that document I mentioned, you have to condition your circuit. You have to take a while. It's going to take 2-3 weeks until you start seeing a significant change that you can measure. So it's in the kilowatt. Kilowatts is the amount of energy that is passing through, that is delivered, and that's what we want to measure. It's not the voltage. It's not the currents, because these are interchangeable. They can be converted to one another just with wires. Okay. And a third thing that I noticed, that people are using these detectors of electricity, and they're really impressed. They say, "Oh, this is really powerful stuff." They look at a normal wire, and they have to bring the little device which lights up when there's a current really close to a wire, and then it lights up there. If they do it close to a reactor, to a Keshe reactor, like really far, it lights up, and they think, well, there's energy generation there. No. Okay. If there's energy generation, it's kilowatts in, more kilowatts out. You have to measure that. The reason why these lights come out really far from and really powerfully from the Keshe reactor is because of the amount of coils that are involved there. Because what the device is measuring is magnetic fields that are generated by the electricity in the wire. It's not measuring the electricity in itself. It's measuring a manifestation of the electricity. So if you have 1,000 wires, like an electromagnet, for example, which has all these coils, like all the coils, each wire in the coil is generating a certain amount of magnetic fields, and they are, if there's a lot of them, there's a strength of magnetic field, and it expands, and it kind of amplifies itself. There's not more current or more energy. It's just the magnetic field is really strong because there's all these wires and all these things that are coiled together. So your little pin lights up really far. It means that the current is passing. Just don't freak out. It's a good sign. The electricity has to pass through. That's good, but it's not an indicator that something magical is happening. We really have to be scientific about this. The idea of the reactor is generating energy. So kilowatts, 1 kilowatt in, 2 or 1.5, whatever it is out, that's what we want to measure. That's the only indicator of the technology working. That's it. Everything else, it can be explained by just normal stuff. Okay? So I just wanted to give you guys that information from all these observations I've had. So look for the right thing, you guys that are building the reactors. Measure the kilowatts. Those that are watching others watching the reactors, look for that as well, and tell them, measure that. Like it works. Like keep measuring that, and next week measure it again, and next week measure it again, right? So that we can see if there's an increase. That's how we're going to be doing the testing. That's how we're going to see if it works. All right. So let's keep plugging at it. Through science, we either prove or disprove theories and technologies. Either way, it's good. But let's use the proper process. Let's do it together, and let's use all sorts of other stuff together, because we are peaceful revolutionaries, right? We want to change the world. We want to do it right. We want to do it using real methods, and let's use our energies in an efficient way, because that is a limited factor. So have a good time. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holidays, and we'll see each other on another video on the flip side. Ciao.